Hey, and welcome. We're going to do maybe a 20 to 30 minute kind of flow this morning. We're going to be up for a little bit. We're going to get back down on the floor. We're going to find just a little bit of ease. So I just want you to tune into your body for a minute. Find your own way of doing that. It might be going across on your toes. It might be we go straight into a bounce. And just move from your left foot to your right foot. If you want to put in a little bit of a sway or a little bit of a, we're going to move into Tai Chi sways in a minute. But just get a feel of your body. Go with the intuition and the attunement that you feel in the way that you want to move. Notice, slow your breathing. So we're going to go with a 3-3. And then for a few cycles of our breath. Slow it down. Go 4-4. Let's get it low. Find the width and the depth of your lungs and your diaphragm and your rib cage here. One more. Just letting your low back muscle tissue kind of move. So this isn't a stretch, it's a moving in. Notice what urge you have in the way that you're moving. It doesn't have to look like what I'm doing. We're letting this be quite intuitive at the moment. And I really feel this want to lengthen and cross connect. So I'm going to push away from the floor and reach up. So in effect, there's a push and a pull happening in my body. I'm letting the breath move. I'm not going into a kind of stretch feeling of the fascia, right? I'm pushing from this leg. I'm going to reach. I'm noticing. Now I always notice how much these ribs kind of really move forward. So I really like to just come back and play with this push-pull here. So feeling like I'm having a push from here. And I'm pulling this way. And this is anchored. And I'm anchoring this in a way with the other tissues in my body pulling away. And I've really got this nice movement here. And we're just going to work with that for a minute. As I'm breathing out, I'm letting the low ribs at the front relax down. Oh, and it wants to go into something else. And that's such a lovely movement. So now I've got much more sway and availability in this lower rib cage, in the middle part of my torso. Oh, and that feels great. This kind of rocking from side to side, finding that range. Because as we roll up a little bit, we do the vertebra higher up, and as we roll down, we do the vertebra lower. And I'm a real onto my toes kind of person, so that's what's instinctive to me. And as I come lower, I let my body, like this kind of balance, shift behind me that I can stay more in my heels. And I'm noticing still that I've got this availability in the back of my left ribs. Anchoring my feet into the ground, lengthening away. This is a long anterior fascia stretch. And I'm just going to let it bounce for a minute with my shoulders and my palms open. So I've let my breath out there. And now I'm going to use what I know about nasal breathing to help me regulate that in-breath more. Because my tendency would be to like pull the air in through my mouth and be big and long in my breaths. But actually, that doesn't give my body a helpful message of relaxation, of safety, in terms of the biochemistry of breathing. The mouth breathing and the big breathing is giving me less carbon dioxide than I want, and it's creating a situation where I'm going to try and suck the air in, but not because I'm regulated. So we're going to use this reduction of oxygen a little bit while we raise the carbon dioxide, and this combination together gives a really great effect on blood pH. It gives a really great effect on the vagus nerve. I'll be running some breathing workshops in October, so if you're interested to know more about this stuff, then ping me up and I will send you the details of those as soon as they come live. I'm just now going to really slow my bounce. Make it really small. Right, now I've got that foot completely available. Okay, so now we're going to move into, because we've got the rib cage, we've found our nervous system, we've upregulated a bit and we've downregulated a little bit. Okay, well I certainly have because I've been talking. That we've found our way back into that downregulation, which also means that it's going to be easier to find the parts of the breathing that we really want to access. So we're going to go into a bear plank. I don't actually love doing this without shoes, but we're going to go with it anyway. So I'm going to aim to put my heels on the wall. So I've got my hands under my shoulders. I want you to take a soft breath out. Let those lower ribs come together. Find that 360 movement of your rib cage. When you're ready, you're going to lift your heels, driving them into the wall. And you're really trying to get that whole foot contact, but especially your heels on the wall. making your breath as soft and light as you can. Come up into your down dog, really sending your sit bones up. So I've just brought my right foot forward, keeping my back foot in contact with the wall. We're just going to do some alternate reaches. So I'm really keeping that heel and connecting with the hamstring. I still got this lovely contact on my left rib cage. I'm using that 360 expansion and very light breaths. So as I turn, as I push with this left arm, I'm turning my sternum into the left arm. As I'm coming back, I'm pulling, and I'm turning my sternum that way. And we're going to do this for 6, so I've got 3 on each side. And then I'm going to let my sternum go with the direction of the arm. I'm going to keep my knee relaxed, both of them. Right, okay, and we're going to go. Now I'm kind of pushing this way and I'm pulling back, so I'm turning my upper body to the right. And you'll see that I've got my lower body turned to the left. We're going to let them go the same way. I'm going to notice the change of pressure on my foot. And I'm pulling and pushing. And sweating. It's really muggy today. Just facing down, I'm going to re-get that connection. I'm going to find the solidity of my foot. And I really notice that as I change position, and I'm trying to keep this hinge as I alternate still with my rib cage, that my knee doesn't want to take so much load. It doesn't want to be responsible. So I'm going to hold this for a minute. I'm letting oh, that's nice. Okay, we're going to make it a bit more dynamic. I'm pushing this side, this knee into my hand as I've come across, and now I'm going to let this right leg slide back as I come up. So this left knee, is driving down, pushing my right knee, turning through my rib cage and my sternum, letting that right knee drive forward. This one's coming back. Last one. Nice. Okay, swap feet. So, okay. I'm just going to go over a bit on the wall. Let's go there. Okay, so same things. I'm going to get this rotation. So I'm going to pull it away first. I'm really connecting with my back right heel to connect into the hamstring. And I'm going to pull back with my right elbow, pushing forward, reaching forward with my left, turning my sternum into my left arm. Turning my sternum now into my right arm. Keeping that connection, softening my knees. Okay, now we're going to switch. So now as I turn, I'm pulling back with my right elbow. I'm pushing this left hand as if to the right, and I'm letting my sternum turn. I'm keeping the connection of my lower body. Soft knees. Reminding myself more than you. Oh. Really notice as you turn how much your pelvis wants to dip away from the wall, away from your heel contact. And as you turn, as I'm going this way with my right heel on the wall, I'm noticing that the pressure comes onto the outside of my foot. And as I go this way, it comes onto the inside of my foot, my right foot. And as I go this way, it comes onto the outside of my foot. So we're letting that rotation pattern happen. It's exactly what we want. So now I'm coming down. So we're going to let this be a hinge. We're going to let the knees take a bit more responsibility. And we're really just working with the torso for a minute. Oh, see what we've got. Oh. Okay, let's do a little bit of shift. So I'm coming across this way. And now I'm going to let this side slide up. This knee comes forward. This hip comes back. They're coming back. Finding my big toe on the back foot. Finding the back of my hip. Letting this knee do its thing. Reaching, reaching. Ooh, too quick. So easy to start putting it into the back, into the lumbar spine. All right, one more. Actually, let's just go a Tai Chi sway. Oh, that's nice. That feels like it's gotten rid of all the crinkles that were still in my left shoulder after sleeping heavily all night. Fantastic. I'm just going to grab the step. And if you have any blocks or books or just something that you can raise your level up a little bit, we're going to come down and just do, probably with me there, right? We're just going to do a few bridges, and I can use the foam roller here. We're just going to go use the wall, okay? It's really fine to keep it as simple as possible some days. So first of all, I'm going to get this anchoring. I've really anchored down onto my step, and I'm slightly pulling my heels towards my bottom, and I'm now contacting the wall with my big toe pads and the ball of my foot. So I'm going to hold that throughout, and as I press into the wall and keep this connection, that is largely what starts to lift me. That creates that fulcrum, and we really want to keep this moving up. Four more. So just as long as you can kind of feel the fulcrum's working for you and the intensity of the muscles working, rolling down. Your hamstrings are going to be on fire doing this for 5 and probably already. I find it really helpful in between reps to kind of slightly reset my feet because it's so easy just to go through the motion. Great. Okay, so we're gonna leave the step to one side for a second, and I just want you to we're going to just reconnect with the fascia after doing a little bit more kind of strength and structured work. So I just want you to hang out in this position. Just let one knee be bent, relax your arm on it. This goes into a natural shoulder shrug. I'm mostly sitting on this left cheek. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of let my knee, staying connected with my arm, let my knee drive forward. And that gives me a certain amount of movement. And it's very natural. It's not pulling or pushing on anything in particular. And now I'm going to kind of push away from the ground as I do that. And so I'm letting this movement kind of come up through here. Just going to move that leg a little bit, just as I come back, it's just catching me. Kind of interesting. And what happens if I take this a little bit further? It's really easy to go into a stretch there, but I want you to just stop just before the stretch and breathe into it for a sec and come away. Let's take the outside of that foot and just coming across. Just really kind of easing out there through the hip. What happens if we just let that come up and move all the way through the foot? And what happens if we let this come down? And now my foot and my hand are my push points, and this arm is my pull point. And I'm coming up, and I'm not going to let it move into a stretch. Okay, let's go with this side. Let's see what this side's got. So I always get quite a lot out of the hip on this side. You might find that you're the same. And I think because this is a naturally more relatively externally rotated position, which the left side is generally more comfortable with, I'm going to go a little bit more push there. And that's pretty nice. I've really warmed up quite a bit. Quite often this is stuck a little bit here. So that movement that we did earlier was really great for me. And if I take this a little bit further and let this come up, I'm pushing from my knee and my hand, letting it reach. I'm such an onto my toes person. Such an onto my toes person. Really need to get these deep, deep squat positions to find my heels and the back of my hips. All right, coming across. And this is nice. And so now, what have I got from here? So from there, I've only got about that, and then actually it's here that wants to open. And there is a real urge and intake of breath, and that shows that great connection into my fascia. That shows that it's something nourishing, that actually that's like, oh yeah, that's the point at which we can now start to draw in the good stuff back into the tissues and the fibers. So compressing and shearing in different ways and just listening to the body, because ultimately the body knows. And that side doesn't really need so much. So I'm going to come back to standing. I'm going to give you guys a minute. You find and finish whatever little moment you're in. Now, one of the things that we so often forget to kind of work with is the strength of our adductors. And so here, I could have gone to just get a block. I'm just going to work with the step so that my lower leg is against the inside bottom, and my top leg is against the inside top, the top on the wall. And I'm really going to connect my heel and press my knee down. I'm trying to give myself a little lift off this step, and I'm really noticing how I quickly move away from it and where my cheek comes in. So for now, really probably what my body needs is just to stay massively in contact with this step, really keeping that connection. And I regularly really like using this reach forward and press because it helps me to engage these lower ribs. Fab. Okay, and I'm going to do this on the other side later. You guys can go ahead. I'm going to just come forward, sliding my hands, and I'm just going to stay here and breathe for a bit. really just moving, finding my different parts of my rib cage there. Maybe you join me in that last little bit, just exploring that different position and what feels good. I didn't want to give you too much direction so that you could tune into you. And I really hope that you enjoyed that little movement session and that blend of working with the fascia, nourishing the fascia, finding strength, positions of strength and positions of really positive adaptation in the way we organize our body, in the way we find our feet and our ribs and our hips, and then coming back to this really flowy, non-stretching, non-strengthening movement that's just a full connection into the body. And for me, this flow is a give and take. It's a constant of receiving and connection, and I think is really the yin and yang, the importance of all the things that we have in movement. And it can take 15-20 minutes like that in the way that we do it, and using the breath in different ways. And I am here for all of that. And I hope you will join me again. Thanks a lot.